I wanted to put together a little video kind of exploring some of the pitch effects within the Helix HX Stomp HX effects. Now, we have quite a few, and so I think I wanted to kind of talk you through how you might think about using each of them, sort of like a checklist for things that you might want to think about before you select any of them. So we've got pitch wham, twin harmony, simple pitch, dual pitch, poly pitch, poly capo, poly wham, 12 string. This was actually what I was using at the end of the intro, this kind of, which sounds like. So the first thing to say is, your first question that you should ask yourself is, am I going to be playing more than one note at a time? So the simple and twin harmony, simple pitch, dual pitch, all of these, and pitch wham. So if you play chords into them, you get kind of strange sounds, should we say. For instance, so say you got pitch wham here, you turn this on. Actually, pitch wham is borderline okay for this. But you hear there's like issues with tracking. It's actually tracking better than I remembered. Essentially, you would want poly pitch, poly wham, poly capo if you were going to be hoping to get really clean pitch shifting. So let me just put something together quickly. You'll hear, so poly pitch, for example, it will use way more DSP. You hear there's like less artifacts than if I was to use simple pitch. Okay, and then you've also got some more advanced things. So you could have like really fast tracking. You could have fast tracking. Or you can go for extra stable, which will have more latency but should sound more natural. So you hear there's like overtones and stuff going on there. So do you want it to be poly or do you want it to be simple? So most of the time on the stomp, you probably will have to be very careful if you're using poly pitch. The other poly options, you've got poly wham. All of these are basically, I think, the same algorithm from the Digitech team. It's the same kind of concept. Then you've got poly capo. This can go up or down an octave. Actually, is that the same? So with the poly wham, we have more available octaves. The poly capo can only go up or down an octave. Poly pitch can go up or down 2 octaves. So that's the next kind of question that I would ask is, do I need something that is going to go up or down 2 octaves? So for instance, if you look at the dual pitch block, this one can go up or down 2 octaves, or simple pitch can also do that, but also has this delay element, so you could go I think that could even be up to 100 milliseconds, and has a fine tune on the cents. Pitch whammy can go up or down 2 octaves, but doesn't have the delay. Twin harmony, so this is like a more intelligent pitch shifter, but you do have to be kind of careful with these that you're and obviously that doesn't work well with chords. Then simple pitch and dual pitch. So the dual pitch doesn't have, oh, it does have delay as well. So the dual pitch is literally kind of 2 simple blocks put together. So you could do the same sort of thing that I was doing in the opening. So we've got an interval there, and what I want is 16. I don't want it. If you change these cents to be back to 0, that's when things will sound more in tune. Right, so what I'm going to do is then set up a switch for this button here, interval 2, foot switch 1, and the minimum will be plus 15, and the max will be plus 16, and then we should get something like in the opening there. So we could have a major spread triad, or minor. So you can kind of put together some fairly useful and experimental stuff with the simple pitch or the dual pitch. That's part of what I was doing in the intro there. You don't want to be playing more than 1 note at a time generally, unless you're using the poly pitch, poly wham, poly capo 12 string even. Let's listen to that. So the other place that you can find some of these effects is in the delay, where we have like this pitch echo is 1. So this is the same kind of concept. So we could have it going up an interval of 12. This is part of what I was doing in the intro. And then you can have that as a time-based effect, which I think is really nice. You can set the feedback and it'll keep going up higher and higher. But 2 notes at most really, but generally mono input is what's best for this. You've got a sense controller, then low and high cut off, so you can do some stuff with that as well. Maybe even if we put like the simple pitch into here, with the delay on as well, we could get some. or if we use the dual pitch with the delay there at 50 milliseconds. And then 100. But if you hold the note, kind of don't want to blend the notes together, you get that horrible kind of, so keep the notes clean and not sustained into one another. Actually, yeah, there's one more, there's the harmony delay, right? If we go to harmony delay here, so in key of A, kind of runs up through things. So you get some really, really pretty effects out of that. Really quite an experimental effect as well. Here's another thing that I like to try to do. If we take the poly pitch up an octave, so this was more relevant before we had the shimmer reverb, but here's one of the things that I kind of liked to do before. If we take a reverb and we take it in mono, sorry, and take something like the searchlights, put it onto path B, move it here, and then after that I'm going to put, see, this is kind of one of the issues with the poly pitch, is that it takes up so much thingy. We can use polycapo actually, and then we might be able to get in a delay. Stereo, ping pong, then mix 100%, and we want that on path B. So now if I chuck this up an octave, we can get some kind of shimmery effects. Or you could put the pitch before. But yeah, you could. get some interesting kind of effects in that kind of way. Things that I was using for the intro, so just to wrap it up with some of the things that I was experimenting with, and I'll drop these into the folder if you want me to. Here was one, so in this case you press position here and control that with your expression pedal 2, and I've set the heel to 0 and pitch to 12. And then you can kind of sprinkle in that expression pedal to tape. And I think that's got a really cool sound. You could also set that to be a momentary switch by doing this. So if you press moment, foot switch 1, minimum value 0%, max 100%, what would that do? Yeah, so then you get that kind of thing. So that could be quite a interesting way to do some things. Got this one here, so I was using the pitch echo, and for this I've assigned kind of different parameters to foot switch 1. So I've changed things up a bit, so it changes from a quaver to a quaver dotted, and also the interval changes, so you get this kind of effect. So yeah, that's just the use of the pitch echo, which is quite a cool little effect, I think. Oh, and then this was the reason for this video. I was making this preset for Ant Law, and here I've got 2 simple pitches, and the interval, as I showed you on the dual pitch, is being changed by... So we could change from like an A major then when we press this one in, we get a minor. And then we press it in again. So there's loads that you can do with the pitch effects. The question that I'd asked myself before I started building a patch would be, do I want to play more than one note at a time? And then, you know, start building from there. And, you know, do I want other stuff in the preset? If I do, on the HX Stomp, the polypitch, polywham, polycapo and 12 string, I probably don't want to use those. I would use those in the Helix, but put them on a separate path. And then think about, you know, do I want things controlled by the expression pedal or not? Do I want to start adding in delay? You know, do I want a whammy type effect? Do I want a poly whammy type effect? Or do I just want some echoes? In which case I'd go into the delay and think about using some of the pitch echoey stuff. Or even nowadays, I guess you could think about using the shimmer as a pitched style effect, because I mean it is, isn't it? It's a shimmer reverb. So yeah, that's like a little few ideas about how you could use some of the pitch effects in the Helix. Hopefully that was vaguely useful to one or two of you. Let me know if you want me to drop these into the folder for you, and I'll be happy to do so. Cheers!